J-Dub himself also asks, what is your favorite horror book of all time? I would say Pet Sematary by Stephen King. Definitely Pet Sematary. That one kept me up. That was creepy as shit. Maybe it's because I have an affinity for animals, or maybe I just like my Achilles tendons to be connected and not severed. That's a possibility. How's that project for the upcoming deadline coming? It's coming. It has to come. I've only got till September 1st. That was from Bunny Cates, who is actually going to be beta reading my short story whenever I get it done. It's going to be done soon, I guarantee you. Advice for those struggling with getting their ideas from brain to paper. Number one is there's nothing wrong with having ideas in your brain. Sometimes they should stay there. One of the best exercises that you can do is free writing. Free writing is basically you open up a program, you set an egg timer, set it for 2 minutes, even 2 minutes, and do not stop typing for that 2 minutes. I don't care if you're typing blah, 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 blah. Type and keep it going. At some point during that 2 minutes, your idea will come out in your keystrokes, or if you're writing it by hand, the idea will come out within that 2 minutes, and you will likely keep going after that 2 minutes. That's the thing. Once the alarm goes off, if you're not already going at it, yeah. So try that. Try that. That's at least an idea. How is your library organized? Or is it just general by genre? Or do you have some kind of system going on there? I have it split up between adult and YA, and then within that, the YA is pretty much alphabetical, except for I have a whole shelf that's just not been categorized at all. And then, not a whole shelf, I have a whole case that hasn't been categorized. And then my adult are separated out by science fiction, fantasy, mystery, horror, and downstairs I keep all my literary fiction in a beautiful library cabinet. It is gorgeous, I have to say. Bunny Cates asks, Danny, when are you coming to the Kentucky, Tennessee area so I can get a book signed? That is not likely. That is not likely at all. I will say this. University Books in Seattle is going to have a bunch of signed Velveteen copies. And that's after we do our signing on the 10th and the 13th. So feel free to order through them. Powell's is going to have a bunch of signed copies, and you will be good to go. You will have your signed Velveteen. We'll go from there. As for like other tour type stuff, I don't think that that's going to happen. I you know what? I've put together as much as I can for myself. I think that people are under the impression that when a book comes out, you're automatically the sort of golden child of your publishing house, and they send you out on tours, and you get to meet all your readers and sign their books and stuff. But that's not the case. Only the lead title people get to be sent out. The rest of us have to pay for our own way and all that. I would be more than happy if someone wanted to send me a plane ticket, set me up in their guest room, and zip me down to a bookstore. I would be very happy to do that. Also, you'll need to feed me. That's it. Because broke. That's a writer's life. Broke. Melissa Books asks, how do you maintain the voice of a particular protagonist throughout a novel? You stick inside that protagonist's head as much as you can. You do a lot of your thinking about what happens from that protagonist. It's like method acting, actually. That's kind of the way I see it. I don't typically write in first person anymore. I used to do that for my adult series. I wrote in first person quite a bit because that was very much my voice. And I think it's hard for me to get into another person's head when it's not my voice, not specifically my the way that I think or the way that I talk, this sort of mod podge. Renee at Nahomas 2 asks, what is the smiley faced roundish object thingy on your side shelf there next to the birdie? What be that? Because the top looks detachable. I have just decided for myself that it is a cookie jar. Well, it is a delivery system for sweet things, and it's for drinks, actually. In fact, here's some drink umbrellas inside of it. It's from Carnival. It's like the cruise thing where they give you the coconut and then you drink your pina colada out of it, you know. And we brought it home. I don't know how I got it in the suitcase. I had to cram it in there. Dylan, DM Friend 26 asks, what inspired you to become a writer? You know what? I felt like I had a lot of stories to tell. I felt like I had collected a lot of stories. I felt like I read with such great enthusiasm that I kind of understood story and how that worked. And I also had turned my mind through the course of a career that was degrading and wretched and bloody and nightmarish into this sort of dark sensibility. I was a fan of horror all through my childhood. All of that kind of came together in this imperfect storm of ideas that I felt like needed to go somewhere, and so I started writing. Dylan asks, how did you go about getting your book Velveteen published? You know what, I worked on it for a year. My agent put me through tons of revisions on it, and after that, he felt like once it was ready, he's really good at editing and revising stuff, so he could be an editor himself. But once we got that done, he knew some folks. He's a really good agent, and he sent it out to 14 people in New York, and yeah, and one of them, Krista, my editor at Delacorte from Random House, she absolutely loved it. She's excited about it, and I you know what? I was like, I love anyone who is excited about it. Anyone, really. And we were like, sold. So that was it. That's how it happened. And that's it. See you next week.